So, have you ever tried French bread? I mean, it's a staple of the country's cuisine, and let me tell you, there's nothing quite like it fresh out of the bag. But what I find really fascinating is the history behind this iconic food item. But have you ever wondered where this delicious staple originated? Let's take a trip back to ancient times, specifically the Romans' influence on French bread. They brought with them their own bread making techniques and ingredients from Italy. Over time, the French adapted these methods to create their own unique bread styles. The Romans introduced yeast-based baking, a game changer in French bread history, to France, replacing traditional flatbreads made with crushed grains and paving the way for the buttery croissants and rustic baguettes we know today. The Romans' introduction of yeast-based baking revolutionized French bread making, allowing for lighter, airier loaves. As the Roman influence merged with native traditions, artisanal bakers began experimenting with different flours and fermentation times to create distinct regional breads. The Normans, who ruled France from the 10th century onwards, further refined bread-making techniques and introduced new ingredients like salt and herbs. Meanwhile, in southern France, the Provençal region developed its own unique bread styles, such as pain de campagne, which would go on to influence French baking for centuries. This regional diversity is a testament to France's rich cultural heritage, from the flaky, buttery croissants of Paris to the hearty, crusty baguettes of Provence. Each region's unique bread-making traditions reflect the complex history and geography of this beautiful country. The Normans' impact on French bread is still evident today, with their emphasis on salt and herbs adding depth to many regional breads. This blend of Roman and Norman techniques allowed French bakers to experiment with new ingredients and techniques, ultimately giving birth to some of the world's most iconic breads. So next time you slice into a crusty baguette or indulge in a flaky croissant, remember the rich history and cultural diversity that went into creating it, and the many artisans who helped shape France's bread-making traditions over centuries. The art of French baking has been shaped by countless bakers, each adding their unique touch to the resulting in a deliciously diverse landscape of breads that, from the crispy, caramelized crusts of a baguette to the soft, fluffy layers of a croissant, each bite tells. The Normans left an indelible mark on the culinary landscape of France. Their emphasis on salt and herbs had a profound impact on the types of breads that were developed in each region. From the coast to the countryside, French bread is a staple of daily life. The Normans may have left their mark, but it was the Romans who first introduced grain to the region as they traded and settled along the Rhone River, bringing with them their own baking traditions. But it was the Norman influence that gave us the very concept of a crusty loaf. While we often associate France with the rich history of the Romans, it was actually their departure that paved the way for another major force. The Normans, who brought with them a unique approach to bread making, their emphasis on salt and herbs, had a profound impact on the types of breads developed. The Romans may have been the first to introduce grain to France, but it was their departure that left a lasting legacy in the culinary world and paved the way for another major force to shape French bread-making traditions, the Normans, who brought with them a unique approach that emphasized salt and herbs. Their influence can still be seen in the crusty loaves we enjoy today. But one thing remains consistent throughout these different periods of French history, no matter who was influencing what: the love of bread and the art of making it. Because even though the Normans may have been the ones who popularized that first crusty loaf, the Romans had already taught us how to work with yeast and how to create a dough that was both soft and airy. Hello, Mahdi Chekier. Paris is indeed the capital of France. And now, let's get back to our fascinating tale of how the Normans refined French bread making. Don't you agree? That's a fascinating story, n'est-ce pas? While the Romans laid the groundwork for French bread making, it was the Normans who brought a new level of sophistication with their emphasis on salt and herbs, creating a more complex flavor profile. About their approach that set it apart from its Roman roots and made it uniquely Norman? Well, for starters, the Normans were master salters, using coarse sea salt to bring out the flavors in their dough. And they weren't, not just any herbs, but the freshest thyme and rosemary from